Well, The Speed of Sound was chosen as the first single, A, because everybody really liked it in our inner sanctum, in our inner circle, and why else would it?
Well, I think it's very difficult when you choose the first single, because being the first thing that people hear, they kind of automatically kind of attach that one song to the whole album. So I think we wanted a particular song which kind of showed a good sort of cross-section of the whole album, so it has elements of, our previous album, but also has elements of sort of, the direction in which we've moved forward as well. And it's a great song and we love it. Yeah, I think it's a progression, as much as the second album was a progression from the first. Listening to different things, being on the road, getting different ideas together.
It comes from, all the songs are different, and a band like us, it's all about the songs, and they're original songs. We haven't repeated any of the same songs, obviously, and we've probably broadened our listening horizons a bit. I mean, from everything from Willie Nelson to Kraftwerk to Kate Bush, all this stuff just goes into our brains and comes out, we know not how. Well, I think, the pressure of sales or success or awards or anything isn't really one to pay much attention to, because, just because something sells a lot doesn't mean it's good or bad,
But to sort of satisfy ourselves and feel that we, worked as hard as we could and pushed ourselves forward, and that's ultimately the most rewarding sort of side of it. Well, it's usually it's always Chris starts with a basic song or a whole song or a part of the song or an idea, and then we'll sit around, two of us or three of us or four of us, and we'll work on that for a few hours, and over the course of days or weeks or years, they'll get worked out.
And they'll either make it or they won't make it. We're not geniuses, we write an awful lot of songs and we just pick the least bad ones at the end. Well, most of the time we are regular anonymous people. Depends where we are and what we're doing, And it depends who's following us or not following us. Most famous people, 90% of famous people, and I don't think we really count ourselves as famous people, 90% of them get around pretty normally.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's one of the great things about, music, is there's so much out there and there's always stuff to discover. And there's old stuff that one day you'll hear and you'll never realise how much, or how good it was and how sort of greatly it'll affect you, and you suddenly sort of stumble across these little avenues of, ideas and thoughts. And that's just something which is great, because it's always fresh, there's always something else to
be terrified by.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we reached a point last year where we probably weren't listening to enough other music or old music. And then I started listening to a lot of Beatles and a lot of David Bowie and Kraftwerk, and it just sounded so good that it was terrifying, and it made us scrap a lot of our own work and push ourselves even harder. I think as much as it's important to compete with everyone around at the moment, it's just as important to compete with the greats, We haven't yet put on a Mozart record and done that, because that would be too scary. Everything in my life inspires me to write music, good and bad, and things in our life as a band as well. Something that happens to Guy might inspire some of our lyrics, or something that happens to Johnny, or So when you have a baby, or when you lose a grandparent or a dog, or when you get a new house, or you have your car stolen, it all goes in there.